Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back and thank you for supporting me. I'm Coretta. In this video, I will be making a custom graduation stole using my Cricut. Come on y'all, let's get started. For this project, I'll be using a 72-inch graduation stole, tech wrap heat transfer paper, and I will be using glitter, HTV, and everyday iron-on, and my Cricut mini press. I will leave a list of these items in the description of this video. Here in Cricut Design Space, I am going to add the text. To add the text, I am going to select the text tool on the left toolbar. When the text box opens, I am going to type Asaya. So that's A, and I'm going to hit enter, A, enter, S, enter, I, enter, Y, enter, A, enter, H. Then I'm going to click anywhere on the canvas to close the window and to start typing the next word. I will go through the same process to add the remaining text. Next, I am going to select the font that I want to use. I am going to zoom out so that you guys can see everything. I'm going to select Asaya, and then on the top toolbar, I'm going to select the font, and right now it says Cricut Sans, so I'm going to select that. On the left window, I am going to select System because I only want to show the fonts that are on my computer. And then I am going to type in the search box, Varsity Team. I'm going to select the font, and then I'm going to select Class of. And on the left window, I am going to search for Dolly Script. I'm going to select the font. I'm going to select 2026. And I'm going to search for Varsity Regular. I'm going to select the font. I'm going to select the quote. And I am going to search for Berkshire Swash. I'm going to select that font, and then I'm going to select Cardoza High School, and I am going to go back to the Varsity Team. After I have selected the font, I'm going to click anywhere on the canvas to close the window so that I can start to arrange the text. Right now, the line spacing on Asaya is too wide, and so to change the line spacing, I'm going to reduce the spacing in between it by selecting Asaya, and then on the top toolbar, I'm going to select Format, and I am going to change the line spacing to -2. And you can type it in, or you can use the slider bar to get to where you want it to be. And once I'm finished, I'm going to click anywhere on the canvas to close the window. Then I want to ungroup the letters so that when I size them, they do not wrap. So to do this, I am going to select Asaya again, And on the top of the layers panel on the right, I'm going to select ungroup. With everything still selected, I am going to select the group icon again. And then on the bottom of the layers panel, I am going to select attach. Now I can resize these letters without them wrapping. Next, I am going to add an offset to Asaya. And to add an offset, I'm going to select Asaya, and I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger, because when you make it bigger, adding the offset is easier. So with Asaya selected, I am going to go to the top toolbar and I am going to select effects and then offset. I want my offset distance to be 0.125, and I don't want that offset. I want it to be kind of individual. So let me cancel that. I'm going to zoom out and I'm going to stretch her name out a little bit further. And then let's try it again. So selecting effects, offset, and then I'm just going to bring it down a little bit because it is kind of touching each other right now. So I'm just going to slide it down just a little bit because I don't want them touching each other. And once I'm satisfied, I'm going to select apply. Now I'm going to add my images to the canvas. To add the images, I am going to select upload on the left toolbar. I'm going to select upload image. I'm going to select browse. I am going to navigate to where the pictures are located. I'm going to select my image, and then I'm going to select open. On this screen is the image that I am uploading, so I am going to select continue on the bottom right. This is the background remover screen. Because I removed the background of the image already, there's nothing for me to do on this screen. I used removebg.com to remove the background. I will leave a link in the description of this video to show you how I use removebg. So I'm going to select apply and continue on the bottom right. On this screen, I am going to select flat graphics, and then I'm going to select continue on the bottom right. This is the image detail screen. Here you can rename your image, add keywords to help you find the image later, or you can create and add to a collection. I will not be doing anything on this screen, so I'm going to select upload on the bottom right. I will repeat this process to add the other images. Now that I have my text and my images, I am going to size and arrange them how I want them on the graduation stole. I am going to create a template so that I can know how large my design should be. To create the template, I am going to select shapes on the left toolbar, and then I'm going to select a square, and I'm going to select shapes again to close the window. Because I am using a 72-inch graduation stole, I am going to change the size of the square to 3.3 in width and about 18 inches in height. If you're using a 60-inch stole, you would size the square to 3.3 in width and 16 in height. To change the size of the square, I am going to select the square, and on the top toolbar under size, I am going to unlock the lock proportion, and I'm going to change the width to 3.3 and hit enter, and I'm going to change the height to 18 and hit enter. Then I'm going to click anywhere else on the canvas to close the window. I am going to change the color to white so that it is the same color as the graduation stole. To change the color, I am going to select the rectangle. On the top toolbar next to basic cut, I am going to select the color swatch, which is the material color. And then I'm going to select white. And I'm going to click anywhere on the canvas to close the window. Now that I have my template, I am going to add my text and my images. With the design complete, I am going to create my borders. To create the borders, I am going to select shapes on the left toolbar. I'm going to select a square. And then I'm going to select shapes again to close the window. I am going to size the square to 0.3 in width and 10 inches in height. So selecting the square, on the top toolbar, select size, unlock the lock proportion, and change the width to 0.3 and hit enter, and change the height to 10 and hit enter. Then I'm going to change the color. So selecting the color swatch, I am going to change it to purple. And I'm going to click anywhere on the canvas to close. Next, I am going to duplicate the rectangle 15 times so that I can have 16 strips. And this should be enough for me to place a border around the entire graduation stole. And to duplicate, I am going to make sure that the square is selected, and on the top of the layers panel, I am going to select duplicate. After I duplicate, I'm going to select all of the rectangles, and on the top toolbar, I'm going to select align, and I'm going to align everything to the top. And then on the bottom of the layers panel, I'm going to select attached. After creating the borders, I am going to delete the templates, and then I am going to select, make it on the top right. On this screen is the graduation stole design on the color coordinated mats. This is the print then cut mat, and the black and purple mats are the HTV mats, or the heat transfer vinyl mats. And so with the HTV mats, I am going to be using heat transfer vinyl, and so I am going to toggle on the mirror option. So I'm going to select the black mat, turn on mirror, select the first purple mat, turn on mirror, and then select the second mat and turn on mirror. Then I'm going to scroll back to the top, select the print then cut mat, and select continue on the bottom right. On this screen, I am going to select send to printer. I'm going to select next. On this screen, I am going to select my printer. I'm going to leave the add bleed on, and I am going to turn on system dialog, and then I'm going to select print. The system dialog box will open, and I am going to select my printer, and I'm going to select Preferences, I am going to change my paper type to Premium Presentation Matte. I'm going to change my print quality to Best. I'm going to select OK, and then I'm going to select Print. Once the image prints, I'm going to verify the print quality and then select Done. On this screen, I am going to select my material settings. For the print then cut, I am going to select printable iron-on dark. For the black matte, I am going to select everyday iron-on. And for the purple matte, I am going to select glitter iron-on. To cut the printable heat transfer vinyl, I am going to place it on the mat in the upper left hand corner, and I want to make sure that I place it on the grid, lining it up with the grid, and I want to make sure that I place it in the same direction as it appears on my computer screen. And I'm going to also make sure that the arrow is pointing up. To cut the glitter HTV and the everyday iron-on HTV, I am going to place it on the mat with the shiny side down on the mat. So it's going to go shiny side down on the mat. So I have everything cut out, and so now I'm going to assemble the HTV and the images onto the graduation stole. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to take the border and I am going to line it up with the edge of the stole. And so I'm just going to put the first strip, I'm just going to put it, line it up with that corner here. And I am going to line it up with the edge of the stole. And then I am going to use my mini easy press to, I'm going to use the mini easy press to then tack it down to the stole. And I have the mini press on 3. So I'm just going to use the mini press to tack it down. And with this process here, you want to make sure that you take your time so that you can make sure that you get everything lined up correctly. So once you get one piece down, then you're just going to take another piece and line it up with the first piece that you have laid down, and you're going to line it up as close as possible, and you can slightly overlap it just to make sure that you have it in the right place. And you just keep going until you've completed the whole stole. For the top area here, I am going to take a strip and I am going to measure it so that I can see where the stole ends. I'm going to measure it, and then I am going to cut it right where the stole ends. So I'm going to cut it right here, like that. So I cut it in an angle so that it fits the point of the stole right here. So I cut it in an angle, and then I'm just going to continue to press the glitter onto the stole. And I'm going to repeat it on this side as well. So I'm just going to lay it down and measure it. And I'm going to cut it right where the seam is this time. I'm going to cut it right there. And then once I cut it, I'm just going to lay it down, slightly overlapping it and lining it up and then pressing it onto the stole. For the bottom point of the stole, I'm going to take a piece of glitter HTV, and again, I'm going to line it up with the edge of the stole, and I am going to cut where the glitter HTV overlaps, ends on the stole right here. So I'm just going to cut it right on the corner of the stole right here. And that way it will lay flush with the stole. So I'm just going to line it up and then press it with the stole. And if you have any HTV that hangs over, you can always come back and cut it off. And I'm going to repeat that on this side as well. I am going to repeat that process on the other side of the stole. Now that I have the trim complete, now I'm going to add the text and the images. And so I'm just going to arrange them how I want them on the graduation stole. And so I'm going to be trimming them really close so that I could get everything on the stole and maybe leave some items in place. And so you just want to line everything up. And so that's what I'm doing here. I'm just lining everything up like the way I want them on the stole. So that like that. And so now that I have everything positioned how I want it, I'm going to turn it around so you guys can see it. I have everything laid out how I want it, and I'm going to press it down on the graduation stole. I am going to press I'm going to press in the order. So I'm just going to go from the bottom to the top, and I'm just going to do one side at a time. And I'm going to be maybe readjusting it to make sure that I get it exactly how I want it. So now I have everything lined up straight and it's where I want it to be. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Cricut mini press and I am going to tack down everything onto the graduation stole. And then I'm going to take it over to my heat press so that I can give it one final press. So I'm just tacking it down. Okay, y'all, here is the final product. I love it. It turned out so cute, and she is going to love it as well. I can't wait for her to see it. It's just so cute and so sparkly. Oh my goodness. Tell me what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. All right, guys, that's all for now. I hope that you're able to follow along with my process. If you like this video and would like to see more, please give it a thumbs up share it with your friends, and consider subscribing to my channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a video. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I will respond back. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.